Hey guys, this is MetalMeerkat, and I'm bringing you... I'm not bringing you anything. Hey guys, this is MetalMeerkat, and this is... I don't know what I'm saying. It's that thing. You know, the countdown. Or count up? I'm counting down. 7 classic, nostalgic World of Warcraft zones. Yeah! Let's do this! Alright, number 7. What was number 7? Oh yeah, number 7! 1,000 Needles and the Salt Flats, mainly the Salt Flats part of it. This zone is now flooded. But before that, it was a completely dry zone with many rock pillars and such, and it always seemed like such a long zone to walk through. I kinda enjoyed the vastness of the zone. Not so much the quests, they were kind of few and far in between. The main thing I liked about the zone was the Salt Flats. It was pretty neat, you know, dried up lake bed. Can't talk. It was a dried up lake bed and had its fair share of turtles and crocodiles, or I think basilisks. Fun stuff. But the coolest part, or the main reason I have the zone up here, is because of the cool racetrack it had. However, in the revamped zone, the racetrack is still there, just under, like, a lot of water. But it's pretty cool to go down and look around. Here in the center, there's a giant whale shark, for some reason, dead, and some divers and sunken treasure. It's probably a part of a quest. I wouldn't know, I don't really quest here anymore. But maybe someday. And next we have number 6. Unguru Crater. Or Unguru Crater? One of those. When I came here for the first time, well, I got eaten. But it was amazing because, for one, I walked into a crater out of a desert that had a jungle in it, and the jungle had dinosaurs in it, and basically I walked into the land of the lost, and it was great, minus weird little green giant eyeball creatures. But walking into a land of dinosaurs fulfilled my childhood dream, and I felt like I was in Dino MMO, which I guess at that point it was. But this place was great. It was a nice round zone with many things to fight, lots of quests to do, and even its own very own volcano in the center. However, back in the day, whenever you were mounted up and you hit water at all, you'd be dismounted, and there was a lot of little streams that were weaving in and out of that zone. So anytime you were trying to run away from something, you were probably going to get ate. Especially if you were unfortunate enough to have a Devilsaur after you. Because they were all elite back then, gear wasn't as good, so a lot of times they'd catch you and just kind of gnaw on your head a little. Anyway, dinosaurs, enough said. Next one! Here at number 5 we have Koala Marsh. Really, there's not all that much I can say about this zone, because whenever I came here, it was mainly to explore. I never really did many quests or anything of that nature. I just kind of explored and enjoyed the scenery. It always reminded me of the Swamp of Sadness from Neverending Story. And to me, sometimes I like kind of dark, depressing things. Maybe that's weird, but I don't know. Sometimes I just like going over there and just chilling out and doing nothing. That's really all I have to say about number 5. Let's go on to number 4. And here at number 4, it is number 4, right? I'm pretty sure it's Muldaur. Here we can see the beef patties in their natural habitat, grazing on grass and killing their enemies with axes, taking elevators up and down to Thunderbluff. When I first started playing, this area kind of was boring to me, but now that I'm older, it's just relaxing. It's big open fields, and the mountain range that surrounds the whole area. It's just a super peaceful place. And that's about it. I mean, there's other things. I just don't know what to say about those things. So, number 3. And here at number 3, we have Tanaris. Now, when I first came to this zone, there just happened to randomly be a sandstorm at the time I first came here, which was awesome. For one, I think I had my view distance down, and the weather effects back then I think may have been a little better, or at least different. So the sandstorm really kind of made it seem like a real sandstorm. And Gadgetzan itself gives off quite the Tatooine vibe. I always like to go follow the footprints and see where they led, and then you see these giant skeletons out there and think, man, what creatures lived in this world before us? And this is before we all learned about the Titans and everything, so there was really a lot of mystery behind what was here before. This is also the first time that we are introduced to the Silithids. The creepy, nasty, twitchy bug people. And that's it for Tanaris, I guess. You're just, traveling throughout either Westfall or... what's the other place? Red Ridge Mountains. Or maybe you decide, hey, my little level 10 butt's gonna go straight across that river over to that other side with the other pretty trees. And then you get there and immediately get eaten by a spider and it gets real creepy. Well, reverse order. Creepy, then eaten by a spider. That would be Duskwood, which is number 2. I always liked Duskwood for its creepiness factor. Tearsfall, it's not as scary because you're one of the monsters when you make an undead, so you expect it. And it's not scary because, you're a monster too. Whereas with Duskwood, I mean, you could go down there as an undead and maybe it wouldn't be so bad, but most of the time you're going to be one of the living races of World of Warcraft. And it's a little unsettling to walk over into Duskwood, especially alone. Excuse me. This is another one of those zones that when you go to it, you almost feel like you're playing a different game. Especially when you start reading into the quest lines. Pretty creepy. From werewolves to undead to ghosts. Oh, and big creepy spiders, as mentioned before. This place has it all. And its creepy atmosphere is the main reason why it's at number 2 on my list. And finally, here at number 1, we have Winterspring, my number 1 nostalgic classic zone. When you hit about level 50, there really wasn't much of a variant on zone typing. You either had a choice between Silithus, Eastern Plaguelands, I think, or Winterspring. There may have been another one in there, I don't really remember. All I know is I'd rather be in Winterspring than Silithus. To me, Winterspring was the most peaceful, beautiful zone in the game at the time, and it was the most relaxed leveling experience that I could have at that level. From its snowy mountains, to its hot springs, to its massive Yeti infestation, this is by far one of my favorite zones. And I really had fun questing here. The only time the questing here really bothered me was the Yeti quest. There was a quest where you had to get something from a Yeti. I can't quite remember. However, I do know that even with the quests and the zones being revamped, this quest still exists, and its drop rate is exactly the same. It has not been increased at all. So if you want some good old nostalgic questing, go ahead and go over to Winterspring and pick up the Yeti quest. It hasn't changed one bit. However, there was another problem with questing in Winterspring, and that problem was it was difficult to get to level 58 in Winterspring. So I ended up having to go to Silithus anyway and finish my leveling, which from level 57 to level 58 takes a really long time. Good old Silithus. not on this list. And that completes my list of the top 7 nostalgic, classic levels. Yeah. This is all opinion. I imagine everybody else has a different list of classic nostalgic zones, and I would like to hear them. So go on down in the comments below and let me know what your list would look like. And if you like this video, go ahead and like it, because that's super cool. And if you want some more videos, trust me, I'll get better. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe. That would be awesome. See you next time, guys.